We are in what I call Tornado Alley. Which one is more dangerous? I'd love to be a tornado chaser, it'd be so cool. Hi, I'm Carrie Henshaw from Key Associates Signature Realty. Welcome to the channel, and if you've been watching, thank you so much. And if you're new, tap that subscribe button. As you know, I'm a local realtor and I love to do these videos, but I do sell real estate. So reach out if you're relocating. So let's jump right in. With all the hurricanes going on, it gave me an idea to talk about tornadoes. We are in what I call Tornado Alley. And there's a lot of people that are very scared to move to our area because they are scared of tornadoes and that we are in that region. But one thing that I'm gonna talk about today, we're gonna talk a little bit, if you're in that hurricane world, what is the comparisons? Like, which one is more dangerous, right? I think that hurricanes are obviously more widespread, they're more flooding, they hit harder across a larger area, you have more surging, winds, that kind of damage. Whereas tornadoes are like a mile wide, guys, and it is destruction if they hit you, obviously, in your path. But it is much smaller and probably not as much destruction in the areas that it does go through, but the path it does, it's gonna be severe. So hurricanes, yes, I think they come through more often, and that's one thing I'm gonna talk about. You look at Florida, they're coming through all the time, guys. We're talking about southern Indiana, and we're gonna talk southwest specifically. We do have the storms, don't get me wrong. We have a lot of bad storms, thunderstorms. They come in from the west and the southwest into our area. But when you talk about true big tornadoes, there's only been a few. And I'm gonna kind of go through which ones they were, what happened, what the damage was, so that you can understand really what's happened in our area with large tornadoes. It's not like we get them every month or every year. They are far and few, especially the ones that are very damaging. So we're gonna start with Evansville, and I have some cheat notes here because I'm not an expert at hurricanes, even though I'd love to be a tornado chaser, it'd be so cool. So we're gonna start with the one that I have recorded at this point is January 7th, 1989. It was in Vanderburgh, Posey. It was an F4 tornado. It happened in the afternoon. It had winds of 207 to 260 miles per hour. This tornado struck southwest Indiana, impacting both Vanderburgh and Posey County. The tornado's path was more rural, but did damage farms, homes, and other structures. It passed near the western and southwestern sides of Evansville. Casualties, fortunately, despite its strength, no fatalities were reported, though some people sustained injuries. So we didn't have anybody hurt, just a lot of damage potentially in that path. This tornado caused significant damage to buildings, uprooted trees, and destroyed barns. Many homes suffered structural damage or were completely destroyed. The aftermath, lack of fatalities, was attributed to early warnings. We actually are really good in the area to make sure you know when they're coming. We do forecast the weather. People in the area are very good about making sure you know where it's coming in the path, and in the cities where there is warnings, you will get that warning as well. So, especially the densely populated areas. So that was the first one, 1989, that I have history back of when I was alive, at least. The next one's November 6, 2005. It was in Evansville. It was an F3 tornado. It was around 2 a.m. It had winds up to 158 to 206 miles per hour. This tornado developed in northern Kentucky and crossed the Ohio River, striking Evansville area in the southwest Indiana area. The areas affected, the tornado primarily impacted the East Brook Mobile Home Park, which a lot of people heard about, and we'll show you some footage of that, on the southeast side of Evansville, and it moved into Work County. So that's the areas that got affected in this tornado. There was 25 people that were killed in this tornado, with 20 of the fatalities occurring in the mobile home park. So that mobile home park was a devastation to this area. They just, the area of what it was, weren't prepared, but also the type of homes. That's a hard hit if actual tornado comes through a mobile home park. Over 200 people were injured in that tornado. The damage, the mobile home park obviously was decimated, and that's why there was so much casualties, and with many homes completely destroyed. So Work County had several homes that were damaged or destroyed. Total damages estimated over $85 million in that tornado. So the event is remembered as probably the deadliest tornado that came into Indiana's history, to be honest with you. and it prompted changes in our way to prepare everybody because, like I said, we don't have tons of them, but when they do come through, they're very, very dangerous and severe. So especially mobile home parks, because that is one place, if a tornado comes through, it is very scary. It's not like a home. They can fly like cars. I mean, they're kind of like detached, they're not, so it's dangerous for them. So that was one tornado. The last one we had for Evansville area, December 23rd, 2015, right before Christmas. It was an Evansville F1 tornado. It was in the late afternoon. It had winds of 86 to 110 miles per hour. Its path was a brief, weaker tornado touchdown southwest of Evansville near the area of Howell. Tornado moved through parts of the city, damaging several buildings, including a restaurant and a few homes. There were no fatalities or serious injuries reported, and damage was mostly minor, including roofing and siding being ripped off homes, trees down, and power outages. The tornado was part of a broader system that affected the region. The aftermath obviously was less destructive than some of the past tornadoes. So that is the Evansville, Vanderburgh County. I did want to, because we do cover all of the different areas, March 9th in 2002 actually hit Newburgh. It was an F3 tornado. This happened in the afternoon, winds of 158 to 206 miles per hour. This tornado formed near Evansville and tracked eastward into Warwick County, directly hitting the town of Newburgh. The storm struck east side of Newburgh, hitting both residential areas and commercial establishments. The casualties, there was no deaths reported, but 16 people were injured, and over 200 homes, businesses, and public buildings were damaged or destroyed during this tornado. Lots of roofs were ripped off, trees and power lines. The damage was extensive, but thanks to early warnings, residents were able to take shelter. So that was a big one for the Newburgh area. Now we're gonna travel to Jasper. Jasper's had a few that reported, and I'm gonna kind of go through. We had one in April 3rd, 1974. It was called the Super Outbreak. It was in the evening, 158 to 206 miles per hour. The 1974 Super Outbreak spawned numerous tornadoes across Indiana, one of those tornadoes impacting rural near, obviously, Jasper. Areas affected. The tornado moved through DuBois County, affecting rural areas across Jasper. Through the town itself was spared from most of the damage. So a lot of rural farms had damage here and not so much the town itself. And no injuries, which is great. We also had May 18th, 1995 in Jasper. It was an F1 tornado, late evening, about 86 to 110 miles per hour. Tornado touched down just outside Jasper and moved briefly to the town before really dissipating. Parts of the southwest Jasper were hit, with damage focused on the outskirts of town. There were no fatalities or injuries, so that was a really good thing. And the last one really in the area was May 30th, 2004. This was an F2 tornado in Jasper. It was 113 to 157 miles per hour. It was in the southern DuBois County and Hayesville area, moving towards Jasper. It really affected and tracked through most of the rural areas and within a little bit of the city limits, causing damage to residential and commercial properties. There was no fatalities, so that was good. Just some damage, obviously, to the buildings. They caused homes, businesses, that kind of thing. Roofs were damaged, torn off, and power lines obviously were down. Several vehicles were also damaged by debris in this one as well that they reported. But the storm left parts of the town with power for several days. So there you go. Since the 1970s that at least I could find history on, 7 tornadoes. That's not too bad for that many years. So again, we have strong storms, don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of people think that we have tornadoes come through and they're the big ones. I mean, obviously there may be some ones that are very minor and they do pop up, but these are the ones that are reported as more major in the area, 7. So I hope that makes you feel a little better. If you are scared of tornadoes, just make sure you know where you're gonna get covered. Buy a house with a basement if you're scared to death of them. If not, if you're in a ranch, make sure you have a plan for coverage if tornadoes do come in the area, if that's a neighbor or a location or a friend, whatever it may be. Biggest thing is just know where to hide out when we have tornadoes coming through the area, and you listen to the warnings and the alerts from our local weather forecast, which they do a great job. So don't be scared of tornadoes. I think I'd rather be in a tornado alley versus a hurricane alley, to be honest with you, but that's for you to choose. So hope this was informative to show you that we are not having hurricanes come through every day, and that if you are scared, you at least know the facts. So until next time, see you then.